How are we doing today, guys? Once again, welcome to another edition of the Browns. We're here in the failing light, so bear with me. I'm going to try and get this out as quick as I can, but I also want to show the due time to this epic beer we have this evening. Today, I am bringing you the second of the Barrel Room Selection Series from the wonderful Boston Brewing Company, also known as Sam Adams. So here's the deal. The Barrel Room Selection Series, nice little close-up for you there. Get a good look at it because I know the light is shit right now. The Barrel Room Selection Series is a specialty release from the Sam Adams Brewing Company. And what I really genuinely love is the fact that Sam Adams helped kickstart the craft beer revolution here in America. And it seems like they've just been kicking back, waiting for everybody to catch up. And every once in a while you just see him drop something that's just totally insane. And you're like, oh my god. Because a lot of times they get accused of being, you know, the biggest of the little guys. Which some people, who I would call beer snobs, point to and say, well, that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Like, for all the beer that Sam Adams produces in 1 year, Budweiser spills more on their floors. You know what I mean? So and this is a quote from a fantastic documentary called Beer Wars, which if you haven't seen, you should check out. But he even says it himself. He says, my precious life's work, everything that I can produce and bottle, is industrial waste that flows down their drain. So the Sam Adams Barrel Room Selection Series is a line of beers that feature a very distinct style of yeast. Now, I don't know how long Jim and the boys have been sitting on this, but it's called KMF, or Cosmic Motherfunk. And it's a very Belgian-style yeast, so it imparts a very specific spice note. Now, I'm not an overly huge fan of Belgians. I know many people consider them to be the creme de la creme, end-all, be-all of beer. I don't agree. It's just me. Doesn't mean anything. But there are certain aspects that I really, really do enjoy about Belgians. And a lot of times, one of those aspects is, in fact, the yeast. The yeast imparts spice notes that are just delightful. And it can have varying effects depending on the malts and hops used with it. This is the New World Triple. It comes in at a staggering 10% alcohol by volume and stands to be every bit an awesome beer. I can pick out the spice note from the yeast quite clearly. I can pick out some honey. And a bit of pineapple. Wow. That does have quite the nose to it. Very, very inviting. Now, in terms of the pour, you can see we've got a deep orange, but there's body there. This isn't nearly fully filtered. And when they're fermenting these with this KMF, or Cosmic Motherfunk, they actually age these inside giant wood casks for a year or better, is my understanding. And just an absolutely phenomenal process. Very traditional, very old school. And they say that the old tricks are the best tricks. The old tricks are the simplest tricks. And one of the reasons for that is because when you're performing an old trick, most people think it's too simple, or that it couldn't be that easy. And so that's part of the reason that it works so well. Fantastic head on this thing. Thick, almost reminiscent of like a pastry glaze. So not a rocky white head, but just a fantastic texture to it. Tight, compact. There are small air pockets, or I should say larger air pockets in throughout, but overall a champagne-like effervescence. Now I of course picked a chalice that has an agitator in it to kind of keep it alive and going. And let's dig in here. I got spice from the yeast, clove, a light herbal characteristic in the second half of the flavor profile that I'm just going to venture to say is probably the hops. But it has a fruity kind of lingering to it. So there's really a nice malt backbone to this. This is not meant to showcase the hops. This is much more a full show. The yeast is showcased. The malt is showcased. The hops, maybe not as showcased as a hophead like me might prefer, but they are there and they are noticeable. Absolutely phenomenal beer. I cannot recommend this. You guys have also seen a video on 13th Hour, which was just bang on. Phenomenal stuff. Additionally, you guys should keep an eye out. I have also had the wonderful privilege to apprehend some of the Sam Adams limited batches. So you guys shortly will be getting 3 videos, one on the Tasman Red I.P.A, one on the Third Voyage Double I.P.A, and one on the Griffin's Bow Barley Wine. And these are all batch ones. These are all from the very first batch, and they stand to be phenomenal beers. This is a fantastic price point. This is a full $7.50, and it looks like it's shaped. And I'm a history buff, but I'm not this big a history nerd. There was something shaped almost identical to this, where a stick would come out of the bottom of this, and people used to pack the cannons with it during the Revolutionary War. And I have no idea what the name of that is, but to me, the shape of this is very reminiscent of that. And I'm not one to normally buy into flashy packaging per se. I'm much more of the quality of the beverage should stand for itself. But this is pretty bang on. Very postmodern, very slick, very well done. Sam Adams, you've nailed it out of the park once again. Thank you so much for what you've done for the craft beer community and craft beer in America on the whole. Here's to it, guys. Get out there, buy some of this. Price point should run you between $8 and $10, probably right around $9. I think it was $8.99 if I remember right. And at $8.99, this is a phenomenal steal. This and the 13th Hour, they were line priced, and at that price point, I recommend you pick up about 3 bottles a piece. That's just me, just my advice. Take it for what it is. But like I said, that does it for us. I can continue talking about this for a good long while. I will see you over our next pint. Here's to it on the rounds. Have a good one, guys.